Europa League semi-finals.
Alright everybody, welcome back to Very Biased Opinions. Ian and Tom here, and we are going to give you our predictions for the Europa League semi-finals. 4 great teams, 2 fantastic matches. It's been a really good quarterfinals round. I think all the games actually offered something, except one of them, which we'll talk the least about. Cough, Man United, cough. But let me stop wasting your time and let me just say, please continue to like, subscribe, comment. At the end of this, we'll have some shout-outs to all of you. We love you all, but let's get into the football. Ian, what is the first game?
Inter Milan versus Shakhtar Donetsk.
Right, Ian. So I would say that theoretically this is not the glamour tie of the round.
I disagree. I think both of these ties should be excellent games. I'm going to do a lot of the talking in this one because, Thomas, I don't think you watched either one of these games. And I'm not bagging you for it. I'm not bagging you. You have a life. You went out and did enjoyable things. I'm the 40-year-old virgin sat in his mum's basement being a nerd, watching all the football.
You say I have a life and I'm out doing things. I went and saw The Empire Strikes Back in cinemas.
Great film. But I would actually say in this instance, it was nowhere near as good as Leverkusen versus Inter Milan. What a fantastic game of football. One of the most enjoyable games of football I've seen in a long time. The goals happened early, but the entertainment just lasted all the way through the game. Both styles really complemented each other really well. I think Conte, you have to give him, Peter Bosz, he has one way of playing, doesn't he? His Bosz ball. But they still played really well, Leverkusen, but it just sort of played into Inter's hands a little bit, and Conte's gets his tactics spot on most of the times. They got goals early, and then after they got the early goals, even though they gifted one back to Havertz, they could just hit Leverkusen on the break, which they did with lightning pace. Like, they broke with so much pace. It was frightening at times. Lukaku had another great game. I mean, that's either 31 or 32 goals for him this season. He's had an amazing season. He's up there with Brazilian Ronaldo's feats for Inter Milan in a season. It's the first time they've got to a European quarter-final and semi-final since they actually won the European Cup under Mourinho. So it's been a long time since they've had any European success. Scored a great goal, Lukaku, showed his strength again, his power, but obviously with Lukaku, you're going to get mistakes, and there were times where he was erratic, but it was a real team performance from Inter Milan. Everybody played well. When Handanovic needed to make saves, he made saves. The defense
good.
Yeah, he is. But in front of him, the defense looked really good as well, and they looked very solid, considering the movement that Leverkusen have is impressive, and a lot of sides could have buckled to that, and they stood strong to that. Barella got the first goal. He played really well. Brozovic, Martinez looked really good. But I know we joke about it, but Ashley Young had a great game. He was really good. One of the best games I've seen him play for a while. But at wing back, he dealt with Havertz really well at times. And going forward, he added a lot to this Inter Milan side. And you just probably felt the thing about Inter Milan was they had that bit of experience coming into it. It's got a bit more nous, a bit more like quality. I mean, look at the guys they brought off the bench. They brought Sanchez, brought Eriksen, who I guess he's not that fit because he's had a couple of bench performances, and also Victor Moses, who again he's getting on a bit, but he's a proven Premiership quality player to hit.
He's a great wing back as well.
Yeah, an experienced player to bring on. I think that just sort of told in the end. But do not underestimate this Shakhtar Donetsk side, Thomas. I've been saying it for a couple of rounds now. They are an excellent side, full of Brazilian quality, and they showed that. I know they only played Basel, but they absolutely smashed Basel tonight. They won by 4 goals to 1. Morelos, he scored again. He got a bit of a tap in, but he set the tone. And then they went 2-0 up really quickly, so they could just counter-attack on Basel, which they did. They just kept him at arm's length, and again, just a real all-round team performance from them. Brazilian with the least Brazilian name, Alan Patrick.
Oh, of course, Alan Patrick.
Patrick, yeah, not Irish at all with a name like that. He got a penalty to make it 3-1, and then Tylson got one to make it 4. Marlos set up 2 goals as well. So they are an excellent side. They lose a few points because they did let Ricky Van Wolfswinkel score a goal, which brings them down slightly. But
Ricky,
yes, and
Ricky,
but just all the way through the side, that they just look a very experienced side, a side that's not going to be daunted by playing Inter Milan. I know they play in the Ukrainian league, but they were Champions League qualifiers this time around as well.
I mean, this fits them perfectly, though. Like a one-match playoff, Inter won't have a chance. If Inter have an off game, the Shakhtar team is good enough to put them to the sword if they have a bad game.
Yeah, and it's difficult. I mean, for me, I want to go with a shock. I really do. I really want to see the Shakhtar Donetsk side go through, but I just think Inter Milan, with the experience we talked about, and with like Conte, I think they're just going to get through just about. I think it's going to be another 2-1 win for Inter.
I mean, I'm going to be extremely boring, and everyone's going to comment on this, but I'm going 2-1 to Inter as well. You could see them conceding a goal. You could see it being nervy, but they're so good, and they have so many players that have won Champions Leagues, Europa Cups, league titles. They only trailed Juve by a point. If they play the way they should, and with Conte as manager, team, especially in his first couple of years, teams tend to play the right way. This should be a win.
I mean, again, Shakhtar, I mean, that's to say, last round as well, they did pretty much smash Wolfsburg as well, and they're not, so there are no mugs in
I don't think either of us feel like it's going to be a mauling, though, do we? Like, 2-1 is a pretty close score line. You
said it was going to be 2-1, but Inter are going to have like 50 shots, and
100%
Shakhtar are going to get a lucky one off the keeper's backside in the last minute.
I'm glad you see all the things I'm saying in subtext, like, and you can voice them to the public in case they can't see it.
That's good.
But Ian!
You might have to do some talking now.
It's time for the main event. Manchester United versus Sevilla.
So it was a shame that we didn't get the all-English semi-final that we wanted, but Sevilla totally deserved their place in this semi-final. But to tell you more about the pride of Manchester, here he is, resident expert Manchester United fan, Thomas Pickering. And you must be so proud of your boys.
I'll be honest, I'm pretty sure the Man United team have fallen asleep at the wheel. Or Ollie's at least fallen asleep at the wheel. This club looks so ready for the year to be over. That game went on for so long. Of the 4 quarterfinals, this is the one that I'm not sad I missed. I love Man United. I love this team. But missing that last night, I'm just like, I probably saved myself 2.5 hours of watching.
It was a very frustrating performance for Man United, but when they did get better as the game went on. And
they had their chances. They hit the post. They came close. Mason Greenwood came close and hit the post. Rashford, I think, came close and also hit the post. Martial came close. Like, everyone had a go. There's offside goals galore. But it wasn't as exciting as all that. It wasn't like the free-flowing Man United football post-break.
It was frustrating because you should beat a side like Copenhagen, and the longer you take to put them away, the more annoying it is.
Exactly. And I think that the Man United Copenhagen game was the one game everyone had a nailed on, like 3-1, 3-0 scoreline. Everyone was convinced they would bang 3 past them. And we didn't. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
I must say, Copenhagen's goalie, he put on a masterclass of a performance. I reckon Chelsea were probably looking at him going, I reckon we might put a sneaky bid in for this guy. Do you fancy Kepa? Do you fancy going over to Copenhagen for a year?
Kepa, you can just sit in the reserves. Just sit in the reserves and pretend. But enough of this Chelsea. Poor Caballero. Man United are playing Sevilla. Sevilla are a very good side, but I get a little bit from that quarterfinal we just watched of Man United, shades of Man United in Europe under Fergie, where 90% of the matches were the most boring game you've ever seen, but they just seem to grind them out and win. And that's what they did, and they had played like in Fernandes, Pogba, Rashford. They've got players that seem willing to grind out results and just kind of keep going, and they've been there before. They don't make an epic fail right at the end. So I'm going to go for United to beat this Sevilla team. I think it's going to be an absolutely, just nuts game, but more in the stress level of the whole thing than anything else. I can't see either side winning clear cut or anything else. I've got Man United to beat Sevilla 1-0.
I can see that happening, Thomas, but let me tell you some things. Sevilla, 5-time winners of this tournament. Sevilla, whenever they've got to this stage of the tournament, they've always won it. They love to embarrass an English side, including knocking Manchester United out a few years ago. Very, very bad performance from Man United on that occasion. This should be an excellent game. Sevilla have just beaten Wolves, and they deserve to beat Wolves. They deserved it probably more than a 0-0. They dominated the game. They did get a big slice of luck because Wolves came flying out of the gate, and Traore, what they said on BT Sport was, if Traore was running that quick down a high street, he would have got a speeding ticket. He was lightning fast. And he won the penalty. But unfortunately, it was a very, very nervous penalty from Jimenez. He's had a great season, but it was a tame penalty, really. But it should have been retaken from encroachment. It was a bad, so Sevilla definitely got a stroke of luck from that. But after that point, they just took over this game and they absolutely dominated it. I don't think Wolves barely had a shot on goal. I don't think they actually did have a shot on goal after that. And it really was just a case of Ever Banega, Fernando, Jordan just dominating it through the midfield. Suso had a great game as well. And the Campos stepped up and got the winner right at the end. I mean, Wolves just stepped off for a second, bit of slack marking right at the end of the game, and he just flicked a header into the goal past Patricio. We know Wolves are a tough side nut to crack.
Yeah.
But Sevilla, what impressed me is they didn't rush. They weren't bothered about how long it took. They got the feeling they were confident they would get a goal, even if it took extra time. They were patient, very much a Spanish way of playing, like a very patient. We're just going to work our openings.
We'll break you down eventually. Don't worry,
and it'll be interesting to see how Man United come up against that, because they haven't been tested too much by a team like that in a while, I would say. Yeah. But this is a side that will probably dominate a lot of the ball against this Man United side, and we know United are good when they play on the counter attack. But I think it is going to be a real battle. It is,
Ian, and I think. What is your prediction?
I know, I'm stalling. I'm going to say this. All the way to penalties. And Man United to go through on penalties after a 1-1 draw.
This is going to destroy my soul.
Fernandez never misses penalties, does he? That is the last time he missed one was 4 years ago.
That's insane. He's really bloody good at penalties.
And another thing, sorry, going to Dragon's video. How many penalties do you bloody get in a season? You're the luckiest team. 21. You are the luckiest team in terms of penalties in a season.
Are we the luckiest team, or do we have the fastest feet in the West? It is time for me to do shout-outs, because we've talked way too long about this stuff. So very quickly, Chris Smith, thank you for your predictions. Ollie Hambling, thank you for your predictions, and good call on the Inter versus Leverkusen game. It was 2-1. Really well done there. You had a ball win for Shakhtar, though, mate. I'm worried. Robert Allen said Harry Maguire 3, Copenhagen 2. That's right, a Maguire hat trick. You heard it here first. Mm-hmm. And Dublin's Fair City responded with yes, and probably the last time we'll hear it too. Well said, Dublin's Fair City. Yeah. Let's keep Harry Maguire in the dark for a while. Dublin's Fair City.
He's soured on Maguire, this lad.
It's done with him. Dublin's Fair City, thank you for your predictions. Golden Boy as well, thank you for your predictions. Don't be scared, homie. He said he's a long life Wolves fan. And he says it's mind-blowing where they are now. Sevilla, no joke. Hoping we can get an all-English semi-final. Me and Ian, we're hoping for that as well. We got a little bit of flack on this, calling for that, but it is what it is. Shane O'Donnell, really well done. You also had Inter 2, Leverkusen 1. Really good scoreline prediction. I think everyone...
I think Shane O'Donnell gets one right every time, doesn't he?
He's doing very well. It's annoying. Get off my channel.
No, don't get off it.
Please stay. The waiter says it's almost the same before every game with big clubs against FC Ball. Chat shit, get banged. Ball did really well in this tournament. I don't think thinking they were going to lose this game was any slight on them. They're just they're a small club, and it was really good having them. And then they're gone next. Ollie Hambling's also asked for doing League 2 predictions. We will do preseason predictions, so like where we see the league ending, but we probably won't do weekly ones because that would be a 7th league for us to follow, which may kill my soul. Ethan Hawkins gave us his predictions. Thank you very much. All good. Most of you. He had Shakhtar 4, Ball 1, so that's pretty good.
Hey, great effort.
Yeah. Ethan Hawkins.
Kudos to Ricky Van Wolfswinkel.
Indeed. Ethan Hawkins is also asked for doing Premier League predictions for next season. We will. Our preseason predictions are probably coming out in about 2.5 weeks, something along those lines.
Just maybe under 2.5 weeks. 2 weeks, 3.5 days.
Don Man says, why would anyone think Wolves can beat Sevilla or Bayer over Milan? Well, I will point out that both those games were won by the odd goal, of which Wolves could have had the lead. But thank you, Don Man. Why we thought that is Wolves are a good team, as are Bayer Leverkusen.
Because we're idiots.
Well, I mean, don't tell them the truth, Ian. If you tell them the truth, they'll stop watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for continue to enjoy this with us. And we will see you at the Europa League final.